There we go. Hello, good morning. There
Good morning.
you go. Good morning, Evo. Good morning, everyone. I'm showing up a tiny bit late this morning. It is a Monday of somewhat of a holiday, Easter weekend. I'm expecting lower volume today. I think a lot of people are taking an extended weekend. And it's definitely a news day with the deadline from the US. So let's look at what 5 things to know. I haven't even looked at this. So stock point higher after breaking 5-week losing streak. Is this for today? Yes, it is. Trump issues threats to Iran ahead of straight reopening deadline. That is today. I believe it is. Trump said Sunday he will take part in a press conference at 1 p.m. I read online this morning that the deadline is 8 p.m. Eastern time tonight. So hopefully things get resolved. Earnings CPI report ahead this week. So we start a new quarter, a new earnings quarter. And then CPI report is, I don't remember exactly what day, but on that morning, we'll for sure see it in the economic calendar. And Bitcoin crypto stocks rallying to open the week. So let's look at the economic calendar. I will reload. There we go. Not much. So it is a holiday in the UK. Like I said, in Canada, banks, I believe, are closed today. It is a different day. The markets are open, but I'm expecting definitely lower volume. And as far as 3-star or as far as important news events in 41 minutes, so at 10 a.m., we have PMI, non-manufacturing PMI, could have a bit of an impact on the markets. Like I said, there's not many earnings. I believe we start next week with the banks. Nothing for today. And what do we got later on this week? There's not much. I believe that by the end of this week, I think maybe Thursday, we start looking at banking stocks. They're always a first. And within a couple of weeks, we'll start seeing the big players. And as far as what worked, what didn't work, well, I'll have to look at that after I put my levels on TradingView. So let's bring that over. 30-minute chart on Apple. Apple is definitely at an interesting level. I always want to look at where price is at the moment. We are at a point where there's a lot of room to the left. As far as a level is concerned, I'm going to draw a rectangle right here. Right, this is where we rejected on March 26th and came down from here, tried to make it back up with this long wick, and then just made new lows, found a short-term bottom anyway, and have been buying ever since. But in this area over here, I will be looking at the possibility of a rejection of this high. I will put a level right there that is pre-market high. I want to see, do we reject them? But I'm not calling a rejection. I want to see, is it going to reject, or will it break out of here and then retest for possible new highs? So Apple is definitely at a level of interest. AMD is also approaching a level of interest. Let's set a rectangle over here, just in this area in here. Where price is right now, I do not see room to the left below price or above price. It needs to come above here. As far as a 2-day pivot relationship is concerned, and I do not have CPP on, let's put it on. There we go. We are in a higher range because yesterday, or that was Thursday, I believe. Thursday is higher than Wednesday. So in a higher range like this, there's one of the Camarilla plays is to buy S3. So if it were to come down here, still it's made quite a move. Not quite sure I would be interested in buying down here unless there's a lot of buying on the tape and we can see that this level is holding. But as far as I'm concerned right now, I don't like anything on AMD unless we come and take liquidity out of the pre-market high, right, in this area. Amazon's just been chopping around in this area, right? If you look, longer term, it's just up and down in this area. Very difficult. The entire market's very difficult to read with ongoing economic uncertainty. I will set a level in this area over here. This is where there would be liquidity, and below this level is no longer pertinent. So I will get rid of these lines. But where price is right now, no room to the left above, unless we get into this area, and no room to the left below because we were in this area on Thursday. Am I missing something here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, everything's there. Google. Very similar analysis. I will put a higher time frame level right over here. This is where there could possibly be some liquidity. As far as where we started buying on Thursday, this does definitely seem like a higher time frame buying pullback for the next move up. Let's put these levels on there. So R3, it is in a lower range because of where we closed on Wednesday and then when we closed on Thursday. So because it's lower, we consider it a lower range. In that area, the playbook is to sell R3. Now, if anybody had looked at this pre-market, this could have been a selling point, R3 to S3. Personally, I'd like it to see it come back during market hours and possibly take out liquidity up here for the move down to S3. So for me, it would have to come out above R3 here, or very close to R3 here, for the possible sell or the possible breakout and retest. 6 minutes until the open. Looking at Meta. Meta is also in a lower range because of where it closed on Wednesday compared to Thursday, or Thursday compared to Wednesday. Let's put the Camarilla pivots there. It's already made it above R3, so the likelihood of the R3 to S3 working is very or somewhat reduced. The likelihood is reduced because we have already taken liquidity above R3 here. So as far as where price is right now, not a lot of room to the left because we are there in pre-market. Not a lot of room to the left below price because we were there again in pre-market and all day on Thursday. Microsoft. This area right here where it rejected would be interesting if it could make it back there today. Let's just put this level right here. If it made it back in here, it could be either a long, and if it was a long, I'd be looking at closing this fair value gap here. Or if it comes back in here and rejects, then we could be making, we could be testing the lows of the session. Right, so from 377 area back down to the 373 area. That's what I'm going to be looking at, especially after the first half hour closes. NVIDIA, similar situation as far as it making new highs during the pre-market, but then rejecting from those highs. I will set a range in here as well. Not often that you see, is this, yeah, we've got a 30-minute fair value gap going up, but now we are printing red fair value gap. So we could be closing this gap here. If it were to wick down here, we could find some buyers in this area to possibly bring it up higher. But as far as where price is concerned right now, it would have to come out and take out liquidity around here. But we are higher than the close on Thursday. So we could still be strong. This could still mean that there are a lot of buyers in there. So we analyze a little bit deeper once I'm on DOS. Tesla, I believe, had bad news or a downgrade. I'll have to go look at that, but it was something I just caught yesterday very quickly. Look at all these wicks. Very, very difficult to trade these. That was on Thursday. Lower volume on Thursday as well. Expecting a lower volume today as well. But this line right here, which was, I don't remember where I put this here, but we can see that it touched in this area on Thursday and then broke down and seems to be respecting this as support. Might be an area of support once the market opens. If it did come down here and close this gap and then possibly move up, but from where price is, I don't see a lot of room to the left, either above or below price. We have made new highs on Qs. I'm going to set a range in here. This is where I would be interested, right? I want to wait to see what will, once the market is open, what will price do in this area? And if I'm not mistaken, it's very similar on SPY, right? In this area in here. Right, so I do nothing until we come and touch in here. As far as price on Thursday, we close that gap very quickly, the opening gap here, and then retested, and then making new high here. Will it come down here and take liquidity in this area for the further move up? I don't know. We'll have to see what happens in the first half hour. MNQ, I'm testing out split screens because I will be getting out of DOS in the next little while. Possibly, I'm not 100% sure yet, but I want to see. What I've done here is putting a 30-minute time frame and then a smaller time frame on the right here. So that's just what I'm testing out here with futures. So I don't know if anybody's looking at anything in particular this morning. I did not set any alerts for the simple reason that I will have my trading view chart open on my screen, and I want to see the price is approaching the higher levels, right? On pretty much everything I was looking at, there's room to the left above price, right? On Apple, AMD, Amazon, right? Google. So that's what I'm looking at in here. I want to see on the 5-minute time frame here, preferably after 15 minutes, to see what price will do at these levels. Do we break out and retest? Then that's a possible long, or do we reject this area? For many tickers, Microsoft, similar, NVIDIA, the levels are all really tight, and that was because of lower volume on Thursday. So good luck to whoever trades the open, and let's start looking at what price does in the first little bit. Oops. I'm expecting R vol to be very low. As we can see right now, 27% on Apple, 29 on Amazon, 39% on SPY. So it's very difficult to trade with low volume like this. And very odd to see that at 9:30 in the morning. But like I said, lower volume today because it's a holiday, or considered a holiday for a lot of people, and also because of the unknown situation in the Middle East. Apple's long wick over here could be very interesting. I do have Apple on my screen. I want to see how this 5-minute candle closes. The only thing I'm finding very interesting right now, AMD seems to be breaking out. So for AMD above this level here, it would have to come down and retest the 220 area. But that's quite the move on it right now. What does a 1 minute look like? Yeah, it was everything in the first minute, and AMD is the only one that has very decent volume. I don't know if AMD has news.
Yeah, it's flying.
Yeah, that's and especially with we expect very low R vol, and Tesla's the other one that seems to be breaking out.
There's another stock called AAOI, Applied Optoelectronics. It looks like it had some news this morning. Received a $71 million order for data center transceivers from one of its major hyperscale customers.
It's quite
It's a
the move.
NASDAQ ticker.
Yeah, since
And-
Thursday, I mean, that's almost what is that, a 20% move from 80 to close to 120 here.
Wow. Yeah.
That's quite the move.
It's not a low float to my knowledge. I forget what the float is, but it's definitely over 50 million shares. It might be 70 million. I'm not exactly sure, but
Yeah.
you want to double check that. But very strong.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for sharing. I don't know if there's anybody.
INTC is also jumping too, and that may be a sympathy play along with AMD. Same sector.
Yeah, and then you look at the same sector. You look at Nvidia, and Nvidia seems to be just shopping around. Just a little note here that kangaroo tail that looked like. Let's look at this candle right here. Right, it looked like. I thought I was going to sneeze. Yeah. No, it seemed to be avoiding it. But on the 5-minute time frame, this candle looked like it might be printing a kangaroo tail. But that's why I wait for the first 5 minutes, because now it just looks like a very bullish candle. Right. So there's for me, there's no trading here right now unless Apple comes back down, and I will set an alert here if it comes back down and comes back, below the 257 area. I'd like to be alerted. I want to see, do we start pulling back here and then grab the buyers that were missed over here? Same thing with AMD. Right, for AMD, I'd like it to come down below the 222 area in this area. Right, it seems very strong right now. Do we come back, pull back, and then start making new highs? NVIDIA is very interesting right now. NVIDIA right at all these levels here. NVIDIA, if it breaks down, it definitely could be bringing INTC, AMD, Apple with it. So
I'm also looking at APLD, Applied Digital Corp. It's a cryptocurrency play. And BMNR. I mean, everything seems to be kind of moving right now. So maybe everything's skewed, but
yeah.
We're just going to wait and see how things shake out in the next 15, 30 minutes.
Yeah. Apple, and don't forget there is that PMI news at 10 a.m. Non-manufacturing, where is it? Right there, the PMI. When we have a 3-star importance, it can have an effect on the markets. So let's see what happens at 10 a.m. For me, one of my rules is that I like RVOL being above 80%. That APLD, by the way, could be rejecting the highs up here. I would have to go to a higher time frame here. Yeah, there's definitely liquidity over here. So this might have been a liquidity grab up above here. Let's see how this 5-minute candle closes. Right? If it closes near the bottom, then that is my signal to go short. I will not, because I've never traded APLD before. But I'm very curious to see how this candle closes. If it starts really tanking right now and puts in a very bearish candle, that is no longer an entry for me. But if it were to close near the lows over here, the wick is not quite 2/3. It's more like a little bit more than half. But it seems to be rejecting, but seems to be it needs to close. I have to see what the 5-minute candle looks like. The other thing I don't like about the short is that it would be right after a massive green candle. Right? Very difficult to short something that, a lot of buyers got involved in. So just figured I'd share what it is I was seeing shaping up, possibly. But now it seems like an indecision candle. What is happening with NVIDIA? NVIDIA has a possible level of support in this area over here. Right, on the 5-minute time frame, we broke out of here and then we retested this area on Thursday. Now it's approaching it again. So for me, what I would look at is a 5-minute kangaroo tail that grabs liquidity below here, and then we see a lot of buying coming in. But again, what I started saying is that I like RVOL being above 80%. Just with the testing and my experience for the strategies that I use, they work best when RVOL is above 80. It's not a deal breaker. I still look at what the chart is telling me and what the book and price action is telling me. But it is something that I keep an eye on. Microsoft back on. APLD, I'll leave there because we were looking at it. Another 22nd, very unlikely that it prints a kangaroo tail. So this seems to be strong for the moment. No higher time frame here. This area here let's put a level here. This level here was support, then it came down, and right at that level, it was resistance. Right? And that's pretty much where we are right now. So is it still resistance? Right? Possibly. Could be a short. If it breaks above here and then retests a 2614 area, it could be a long. Right? So that's why I will wait to see. This is I'll wait to see what happens with price over here. Do we wick up here and then reject? Or do we break out and retest? We're seeing a little bit of a pullback on Apple. I do not like the 36% RVOL. And again, I'm just sharing what it is that I liked to see. It's what works for me. On MNQ and MES, we are starting to print an interesting 30-minute candle with a long upper wick here, right? Rejecting this area, possibly rejecting this area. We don't know yet. Right? It just opened down here, wicked down, which is bullish, but made it all the way up here and then retreated, which is bearish. So can't tell what's going on here just with this candle. So that's what I want to see. I want to see what the first 30-minute candle looks like. MGC I was looking at this morning. Did not touch my... this was just paper trading. I was trying a few things out this morning. Yeah, still curious to see if it come and touch this level, but at this level, it has put in a micro double bottom. Right, so anything above this area here, it could be a long on gold. All right, we have been strong from this area where we started seeing, right, we were coming down and then started putting 5-minute fair value gaps up, retesting, up, retesting. The pullbacks are pretty deep though. And then retested again for a further move up. Around this level over here, I'd also like to know if it rejects this area. So I'm putting an alert on gold over here. Anywhere in between here is choppy for me. Oil I wouldn't touch at all because oil on news, it could absolutely rip in any direction. Very, very news dependent. Everybody's got a finger on the on their buying sell on oil right here. But looking at the, that's 2-minute, looking at the 5-minute, rejected this area over here, making new lows. Now it's starting to buy. This area over here could be an area, right in here, could be an area of rejection. And as far as where we started selling, we started selling here and started buying in this area, it is in that golden zone now. Making new highs above this would be pretty bullish. But rejecting this area is still inside the golden zone. I wouldn't touch it. Right? If we take it from here, then we are above it. Right? Very subjective, these fib levels.
I was looking at AMD, and the last candle printed green, a hammer with a very long wick.
What candle? Do you mind me asking, Evo?
The last 5-minute candle printed green on AMD, and it looks like a touch VWAP, fun buyers there, but the wick is just too long. So no entry for me. That's just, it's too big of a risk there.
Yeah.
And the first 2 5-minute candles, they actually, you can look at them. They're what do you call that? You know, they got the same top levels, scissor tops.
Yeah, tweezer
tops. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Tweezer scissors.
Yeah, this is definitely an area of resistance, right? Right now, definitely right at this moment, it is. I'm not saying definitely it's short because we don't know. right? It could just start, right? This might have been the pullback that we wanted. This is what Naked Trading calls this candle right here. They called it a trendy kangaroo tail, right? It's a kangaroo. Usually a kangaroo tail is a reversal signal, but a trendy kangaroo tail is a continuation signal, right? So this was the pullback, and then we put in this. The body is within the range of the previous candle. The wick is more than two-thirds or more. Closed right at the top, and then, started to make new highs. But it made a new high and then pulled back, which is not ideal. But this is very bullish. This is definitely very bullish for the continuation. We had a little bit of a pullback in Apple. It wasn't deep enough for me to start looking at it. I wanted it to break just below 257 for the continuation, but this is also bullish. Breakout, retest the continuation. Breakout on APLD, retesting, possible continuation. I'm going to put an alert above 2614 here, because this is where I want to see, is it going to break out above here, or will it reject this area? Look at how this just tested that level that I put in here, right? Where we said this could be support. Certainly looks like it. Look at that, touching 175.76, right? A few pennies away. But then again, this line is not exactly at 73, right? It's a range. What was the low of this candle? It was 72. The low of this candle was 77. Right? So what I prefer to do, instead of putting a line, is to put a rectangle. Now the rectangle is not as good here as it is on TradingView, but I do have a rectangle tool. And where did I say? It was right around this area. Right around there. Right? Came down, touched it. Yes, it's support. In other words, those buyers, they're still there. Or it's other people putting in this line and saying this is possible support, and they get in. Well, with them getting in, they just make the price move up. Now, what we have to do as traders is decide, is that enough of an indication? Is it repeatable for me to be able to get in? As far as my trade book is concerned, this is not an entry for me. A rejection of this level here on AMD, if it were to reject here and put in a kangaroo tail, that could be an entry for me. Same thing on Amazon here, but the 5-minute candle already closed. Same thing with AMD. So no longer on in my arsenal for now. And at this point, with 9 minutes left until the possible market moving news, I'm not planning on doing anything. And again, like I said, I'm not having to put in a trade, and I don't like the low R ball. Did this make a new low? The low was 224.55, 224.54, 1 penny. Trigger happy people might have gotten short here. But if it loses 224.50 and we do see a lot of selling, then we could be retracing again to where I set an alert to see if it retests the breakout and retest in this area. AMD.
Jill, I'm sorry, what news is due to come out in about 9 minutes?
PMI, I believe, was, let me bring it up. Non-manufacturing PMI. So, and you know what? It is a 3-star with what's going on in the world right now. I don't think, and with the Fed where it is right now, with a new chair of the Fed being appointed in the next month or so, um, I personally, I don't think it's going to have that much of an impact, just because there are many other things in the equation right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially with the 33% RVOL in SPY. I mean, you rarely see SPY being that low. You can tell that the big players are still at their cottage, right? They're still they're not in the markets today.
Yeah. Hey, look what happened so far to AMD. We kind of had a evening star doji print the last 5-minute candle at that resistance area. So
Yeah.
Wise for me to just stay out. I was looking at Palantir right now. Kind of was showing me a potential dip buy in ABCD setup. The volume wasn't exactly what I'm looking for, but with this news release, I just thought I'm going to just sit on my hands and see how the market shakes it out.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea to wait the first half hour, especially at least 5 minutes after the 10 a.m. news. We'll see. Maybe market participants are waiting for that news. But whoever went long this morning on AMD, that was a nice move. Same thing with Apple. Q's definitely approaching a level I like. Q's, I'm going to bring the options chain on my screen because it is absolutely at a level of interest. Right, pre-market high, tons of room to the left, have not been there in a while. This is absolutely a level that I like to look at. Now, that being said, look at that MNQ. MNQ has a massive 30-minute candle being printed right now. When I was looking at it earlier, this was all wick. Now we're filling that wick. We're definitely curious to see what's going to happen at the top here after 10 a.m. Right, that's it. Put it here. There's possible resistance up here. But from where it is right now, there's a couple wicks in here, but it seems very bullish. But if you look at volume on MNQ, the first 30-minute volume is very similar to what we had on this day here, Monday the 23rd, Tuesday, Wednesday. Right? So the RVOL on MNQ is not that much lower. A little bit lower than what we had on Thursday. But interesting to see. I'm going to remove this alert here because it makes no sense to have that down here. This is just a slide that I made for the golden zone retracement. So I'm just keeping that on there for now.
Tesla's had quite the pullback.
Yeah. See, as far as a break and retest is concerned, that is a big retest. Right? It could just be in a range, right? Could just be going up and down in this range, which for a lot of traders, this is an edge. right? If it shows buying over here and starts printing newer candles, then you can absolutely be aiming for the high of the range.
Maybe it'll form a higher low here in this 5 minute candle, and
Yeah.
we'll see if we get a little pop up and then maybe a retracement. So
This is a very interesting candle shaping up on Tesla here. I don't know if anybody in here follows the All In podcast, something that I listen to every weekend. Very interesting. I love that podcast. Very interesting politics, economics, business, trading. But one of the guys on the podcast was talking about the SpaceX IPO coming possibly in June. And he was saying that there's a 99.99% chance that Tesla will be swallowed up in SpaceX, or vice versa. I'm not quite sure how they would, but he was talking about the possibility of a merger, and that's very interesting.
hopefully they'll release shares on Robinhood that you can grab as part of the IPO. They're apparently Elon Musk says I think he wants to allocate 30% for retail.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. So fingers crossed.
yeah. I will 1000% be watching that IPO. It's probably going to be one of the most interesting IPOs that I've seen in a long time. Last one I think that I really watched closely was Reddit. But SpaceX will be incredibly interesting, because as far as IPOs are concerned, everybody's heard of SpaceX, and I think a lot of people are going to try to get involved.
Yeah, I already have exposure to SpaceX. I was on the IPO on what's the name of that stock that they released? It's RVI, which is ETF of private companies on Robinhood. So I was able to get in on that, and that has Databricks, Mercor, Airwallex, a bunch of these cutting edge private companies. So
Yeah, the other ones that are going to be interesting are OpenAI and Anthropic.
yeah.
Cerebrus is another one that I've got written down on my wall here. Oh, somebody's left me a message. What the heck? Oh God. My daughter's left me a message on my my whiteboard over here. I had not seen it until now. So this is that candle that we were just talking about. There's that 10 a.m. News. And this, the puts wicked up and now are coming down, which is bullish on QQQ. There's that candle on Tesla, right? It was a bullish candle. It went up, came and retested the low of pre-market, put in a green candle here. Don't like that it wicked up and then came back down. So we might be trapping some longs here. Um, 30, 230. Very interesting candle shaping up in SPY. It's still only a minute and a half in, but this long wick rejection here could be a rejection candle, could be a short.
Yeah, I took a long on Tesla, got stopped out, so I'm
Yeah.
done for the day. All right. Well, have a good one. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, okay. You're heading out? Okay. See you later, Evo.
Bye-bye.
Okay, cheers.
Below alert.
There's that retest on AMD that I had set up earlier. So I still want to see what it does, where it broke out. A smaller time frame. This was pre-market high. Right, this is where it broke out of. Right, so I'd like to see it come down and retest this area. Right, maybe even my alert might have been set up a little bit too high. There we go. So there you go, 220.50. What happens there? Another minute before this candle prints here, but that's a very interesting candle printing on SPY. Seeing the same rejection on Qs. Yeah, this was a fake out on Tesla. Right? We saw some support, but then that news came out. It just wicked up, and now it's coming right back down. Start the short SPY here with a possible support right at pre-market low and PDC, which is what I was looking at here. And I'm getting a call that I need to take. Low. Yeah, I'll be back in a minute. Allô? Allô? Est-ce que tout est correct, non? Oui, OK. Je peux te rappeler dans 20 minutes? Je suis en train de travailler comme ça, là. OK? Je vais rappeler juste après 10 heures. Je planifiais de vous appeler à 10h30. OK? C'est correct? Tout va bien? Oui? OK. So, je vais rappeler dans une vingtaine de minutes. OK? Je travaille jusqu'à 10h30. OK? OK. Bye-bye. Yeah, this is very, this candle right here is a very bearish candle. And again, difficult for me to short when there's possible support right at PDC and pre-market low. These two levels right here could be strong support levels. Don't know what happened with this. A lot of people were trapped in here going long because this definitely looked like it could be inside of this range if it's part of your trade book, right? Like I said, it's not part of mine. The breakout and retest here, for it to be a breakout, it has to be outside of a range. Well, the range is this range here, right? So the breakout is above this level. Right? But a lot of people do trade inside of a range. But for it to be proven inside of a range, it basically has to make new highs and go touch the edge of the range again. Right now, it's just very bearish. AMD seems to be retesting this level. Might be interesting for a continuation long as the market doesn't start dumping, because there's a lot of room to the left in here. Thank you, Tarek. Happy Easter to you as well, and everybody else that celebrates. Waiting this out until it tightens up on the 30-minute. Yeah, the good analysis, Hamza. Like I said, for me, it has a lot to do with market participation. And in SPY and Qs right now, I do not see that participation. In Tesla, it's there. Tesla definitely has some participation right now.
Below alert.
That was my AMD alert, retesting this level. So now that it's retesting, what I do is I will bring up my trading view, if I can find it. There we go. I will go to the 5-minute first of all. There it is in that range. Right, this is a range that I put up in here. Now I want to see, do we actually find buyers in here? That's what I want to see. Do we actually find a bullish entry? And for there to be a bullish entry, I'll zoom in to the 2-minute. From 2042. AMD RVOL is at 145. So 220.42, even just below 220. So this candle is looking bullish. I do not like this wick up and trapping buyers, right? This definitely looks like a very similar price action of what we just saw on Tesla, right? It just wicked up, trapped whoever was going long here on this breakout and retest, and is selling right now. Now, if it makes a new low, I mean, this thing could be selling. So no trades for me right now. Micro Bitcoin, let's bring that up. Where's my trading view? That's the thing with DOS, with 30 windows. When you open something else up, oh, there it is. You lose your charts. There you go. Micro Bitcoin. Futures, that's micro Bitcoin right here. So let's get rid of these drawings, they're distracting. So Sunday, making highs, then it went sideways here, made a new high, trouble with 70,000, now pulling back. Yeah, personally, I don't see what I don't see a pattern for me for my trading. What about gold? Gold, I was waiting for a pullback to this level. I want to see if it happens. Not in a hurry at all. And AMD. Did we put in a bearish bullish candle? AMD making new highs above 221.85. I'd be very interested. Seems to be rejecting that level again. If it rejects that a couple times, it definitely could be selling. Personally, not part of my trade book to sell from here. The breakout and retest, I need to see that the buyers are in control. Right now, I don't see that. I need to see a strong bullish candle and then a break of that high. And then the other thing I need to see is, can we make it to 3R from that entry? Well, stop would have to be below pre-market high here. So 220.15, 220 area. Entry would be a 222. So that's a $2 stop. So 2, 4, 6. I need to make it to 228 for 3R. I'm not trusting it. So that's not a trade for me. Hopefully me sharing that helps understand how I get into positions. What I'm looking at now, the structure that I'm seeing is a possible kangaroo tail long on Tesla. But 30 seconds left, it would have to close near the top and start making new highs. But it's right below PDC, which could be resistance. And right after a lot of selling over here. But this selling might have just been that there were a lot of buyers waiting down here. So that candle is closing. It's closing red. It's not the KT that I like to see. So that's no longer paying attention to this right now. The breakout and retest on AMD could work. I will see what it would look like on TradingView. So let's go to the 5-minute. Right, entry would be here. Entry long would be right here with a stop below the wick. But where do we need to go to have 3R? Did I entry at 222? Stop at 220. 22. 4. So it's not quite $2, it's 158. So when you look at it that way, target right at R4, that's doable. That's doable. So we'll leave this here and see if it would have worked. I wouldn't be surprised to see this market just going sideways today, except for Apple. Apple's made quite a nice move. It did not retest where I would have liked to have seen the retest, but making new highs. AMD did retest the way I like it, did put in a 5-minute bullish candle. So I've put in the trade on TradingView just as an example, just to see would it have worked. I did not take it, and at this point I do not plan on taking anything. We'll come back tomorrow, and as far as I'm concerned, tomorrow is really the first trading day of the week. For my strategies, obviously, a lot of people trade differently. This APLD breakout and retest here was interesting. Evo was sharing this earlier. Meta's just going sideways. Tesla below these lows here. Let's go on the 30-minute time frame. What do we got? We've got this this gap here that has not been closed yet. So if we break down below 256 area here, I would not be surprised that we come back down and close this gap. Like I said, the news on Tesla, let me look for it. And they're just talking about their auto safety regulator closes probe into Tesla's driver assistance feature. That's bullish news, but there was something yesterday. Yeah, I can't see it. I didn't note it yesterday, but it seemed to be very, very bearish. I'm going to be leaving a few minutes before 10:30, around 10:25. So another 5 minutes looking at this sideways market right now. Sideways for Qs and SPY on low R vol, but definitely not sideways on Apple. That's a nice move. Nice breakout of this area. Somebody caught that. That's awesome. AMD seems to be losing steam. Look at a few futures, and then I'm going to cut out. What do we got going on in the futures market? MNQ, very bullish candle, and then a nice pullback here, made a new high. Very difficult to trade this. Let me just get rid of this. Oh, no, I need this for my drawing. Yeah, we are making new highs. Depending on how this candle closes here, this could be very bullish. However, this could be a zone of liquidity just above. I'll be looking at this area possibly later on today. I'm going to set an alert here above this area because I'd like to see what happens once we touch this level. Do we continue or do we pull back? That's definitely an area of interest for me. Right, just there was a lot of wicks in this area from last week or whenever this was, March 24th. So that's where I'm going to be looking at for MNQ, MES. We have wicked above this area here. This was an area of possible liquidity. Let's go into here. All right, so we took out this liquidity over here and it's still staying there. All right, so we could be making new highs here. Interesting. Where we really started buying was here. Going back. Here's to see what happens below this level here. So do we come and retest the 50% golden zone? So on MES, if during the day it comes and retests this area, I will look to see if we find buyers in here. And then I want an alert at the top as well. Give myself time to get to the computer. So just before the top. So these two levels here I find interesting on MES. Anywhere in between, I'm not interested. MNQ, I've put this level here. Where did we really start buying? So this from this morning. Let's put some fibs from there. That's from last night to here. All right, that's the high. Do we come and retest the 50% zone? There you go. So that's what I'm going to be looking at once I walk away here. Actually, I'm not going to be looking at it at all. I've got my alerts set. They will alert me on my phone or on my watch. MES and MNQ are the only two things that I'm going to be looking at. And again, it's not an automatic entry. I just want to see what happens. What does price do once we hit the highs? If we hit the highs, and or what does it do at the 50% zone? And the reason I started my fib over here was this was from the opening of the market yesterday evening was right here. Right, it put in this wick and then it really started being bullish. So start the fib there, end it at the highs, but we don't know if these are the highs yet. If we make new highs, then I'm going to move it. Right, but right now, if it pulls back to this zone and we really start seeing some buyers, and we can tell, like we tested it right here, tested it in here as well. If we come back and test it again and really start buying, then this could possibly be a potentially 3-hour trade from the bottom here. Right, so that's what I'm going to be looking at. I need to walk away until tomorrow. Hopefully, if you guys got into some trades, hopefully they worked out for you. And if your setup doesn't appear, you don't need me to say this, but if it doesn't appear, it's not worth getting into a market that has 37% and 59% R vol. A very low participation day. So thanks for joining in, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. All right. Thanks, Oliver. Thank you. And by the way, if anything does come out of these futures trades, the alerts that I've set up there, I will be sharing it tomorrow morning. Okay. Thanks again. Bye-bye.